Hey, just a heads up, I know I've been MIA for a bit. I've been busy helping my girlfriend move in and getting her settled. Also, I just added channel memberships. It's only $5 a month and they'll pretty much get you everything. There's not going to be any extra tiers or anything like that, but in the future I do plan to add more benefits. With that out of the way, thanks for sticking around and supporting me. The spooky season was upon us and we all got ready by putting on our best outfits. Maybe you wanted to be a skeleton for Fortnite. Or maybe you just wanted to be a hot dog. Or maybe, just maybe, you wanted to wear a Hawk Tua jumpsuit to really impress your friends.
That Hawk Tua!
Unfortunately, none of these really sparked my interest, so I chose not to dress in a goofy outfit, and instead, stay in my chair and grow some roots while I mow my way through hordes of zombies. That's right, I got into the Halloween spirit by playing the 2006 classic, Dead Rising. With 141 different weapons in Dead Rising, I'm going to limit myself to the one and only, the Boomerang. Before I get into the playthrough, I just want to set some ground rules on this. So first, I can only use boomerangs as my main weapon. I can do stuff like jump kick zombies, and if a zombie grabs me, it's okay if they die from me throwing them off of me. Just, you know, I'm not blatantly like running around with the shotgun or the turret from the prisoners killing psychos and stuff. The second rule is I can use vehicles including skateboards for travel, and if I run over zombies, I mean, that's okay. I just can't deliberately, much like the weapon usage, just run over psychos. Third rule being is that all magazines are allowed. With Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, they added some new magazines, which they're going to be pretty useful in this playthrough. And the fourth and final rule is I must get the A ending. Now, I would go for the overtime ending, but unfortunately, the last boss fight is a hand-to-hand fight, and I'm just too lazy to figure out how to spawn in items. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the playthrough. We started off by heading into the mall, where we met some crazy old hag looking for her little poodle, which she eventually found, but only at the cost of her life, and letting in all the zombies. I quickly scurried for some snackies, before I eventually maneuvered my way up the stairs into the security room. This is where I met the gang of Brad, Otis, and Jesse. Frank wanted to know who Brad and Jesse were and what they were doing there, but I think Jesse had other things in her mind.
Allow me to slip into something a little bit more.
I went ahead and got into proper boomerang throwing attire, and it was time to start the run. The first thing that is a must is to get this hobby magazine, which increases the durability of all toy items by 3x. We then went over to the old toy box and grabbed the 2 boomerangs in there, and it was time to fight Carlito. I started off the fight by making my way up to Carlito and getting into boomerang throwing range. I started on this corner waiting for Carlito to reload his gun so I could throw the boomerang, and I also waited for him to run away so I could pick them back up. This strategy pretty much continued on until Carlito went into a second phase where he does pretty much the exact same thing, except this time he does it on top of the awnings. I eventually got Carlito down after God knows how long this took. Carlito escaped on his conveniently placed rope, and before I got off for the day, I took a little bit of a break to run on some treadmills to get the 10k PPXP bonus. The next day when I got back on, I watched the YouTube video while I was on my break at work, and it showed these 2 locations of new magazines they put into the remake. These magazines were Toy Modding, which increases damage and blowback of toy weapons, and the second one being Pitcher's Almanac, which increases throwing power and distance. I don't know if the throwing magazine contributes to my boomerang because it doesn't show a third icon on it, but I'm just going to go ahead and trust that it works. With these 2 books, I decided it was time to throw absolute piss missiles at Adam. I know that Adam can deflect bullets, but I'm pretty sure he can't deflect the boomerang, so I think I'm pretty much in the clear. Starting off the fight, Adam almost sends himself off the edge, but he luckily made his way back on. My plan of attack for this fight was to wait until he did one of his moves where it would be a for sure hit for me. Another part of my strat was to make this fool hit his own balloons.
Oh, fuck.
Towards the end of the fight, Adam hit himself with his own balloon, which I'm pretty sure he was embarrassed about since he didn't want to come out of the store. I was going to take a photo of him because he looked so cute, but I don't think he was a fan of that. I eventually killed him by hitting his balloon, stunning him, allowing me to instantly pick up the boomerang and then finish him off. With Adam killed, it unlocked the fast travel network, and I re-upped on some more boomerangs, also unlocking my true persona. Now it was time to do the second Carlito fight, and boy, was this a doozy. I used my skateboard to close the distance between me and Carlito. The reason why I do this isn't only because I'll be in range to hit him, but also he won't snipe at me anymore. He will instead charge me and try to attack me, or he will just retreat and throw grenades at me. The only problem with him throwing grenades though, is that his grenades can break my boomerang, if they're left on the ground. Now that I know this, I just need to make sure that I'm not going to break my Shit! God damn it. Okay, well, Looks like Brad is gonna have to finish off this one. I chased Carlito around so he would get in a position for Brad to get a clear shot. The only problem is when Carlito was one shot, Brad wasn't able to kill him. I stood behind this vending machine because I was now 1 HP from chasing Carlito around for so long. I thought Brad could maybe, you know, finish off Carlito since they were practically having a Western standoff. But Brad had enough of this and tried to tag me in. Shots are going now. Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh my god! But what I think Brad was really trying to do was let me know that it was time to reset because this was not happening. My second attempt didn't really start off too well because Carlito Hulk smashed my boomerang, and now I'm already down to 1. I found out later that there is a toy store under where I was fighting and that there's more boomerangs, but I didn't find that out until after I finished the playthrough. But that didn't really matter too much because I was very cautious this time. Brad was doing his Brad things.
Dude, take my picture!
And I snapped one final pick at Carlito before I put him down Aussie style, and he fled off into a Mario pipe. Brad was experiencing womanhood, and now it was my duty to go find him some meds. I found myself inside of a grocery store. Inside of this grocery store is a psycho by the name of Steven, aka me, in several more years if I don't lock in. This boss fight has 2 main mechanics that I need to worry about. Steven will either use his cart as a weapon, and just like everyone else nowadays, he'll sometimes pull out a 12 gauge that is conveniently placed on the side of his cart. One upside of this fight is that the whole arena is just filled with health items in and around the aisles, so being able to heal won't be a problem. On the downside though, there's so many aisles that I actually do lose my boomerang like the little clumsy journalist I am. Only that earlier, I had walked past it without noticing it. Another thing with aisles is that I can't really pick up my boomerang since I have so many different pickup options in a tight space. But I said hell to these high prices and put some of that one for all might quirk into my throne that would knock the absolute piss out of Steven and put an end to this fight. Finally, killing Steven allowed me to get the key to the pharmacy and get the medicine for Brad, so he'll stop complaining like a pussy. After delivering the medicine, I got word of a big muscular middle-aged man who broke into a hardware store, and I was crazy enough to go in there. Turns out, it was a middle-aged man, but this man was hopped up on PTSD from the Vietnam War, and was ready to break my commie neck. Unfortunately, I used a funny little exploit to speed up the fight, and I'm not sorry about it. Every time Cliff is feeling sussy, he likes to vent. And then I do the only logical thing, which is to leave the area and come back so he spawns out of the vent. So every time he vented, I left. With Cliff dead, we run into Sean and his gang of green goblins. Saving the girl they stuffed in the box wasn't on my bucket list, so I decided it was best to leave her for now. I did instead head back into the security room where Isabela was trying to spot... God. I just dropped my slime. It's all fucking hairy now from dog hair. I did instead head back into the security room where Isabela was spotted trying to get some goodies from the pharmacy. I made my way to Isabela until I ran into the big back hubba bubba lady cop, Joe. My main strat for this fight was to run the tub of lard around the display racks until I was able to stun her with my boomerang. That is until she reached over and tased me. What? Sometimes too, Joe would pull out her trusty iron and pop a couple shots at me. But with some time and patience, I was able to knock down the big lady and save Miss K. Now it's time to finally have my run-in with the Latina queen herself, Isabela Keys. I attempted to see if I could jump over her charge attacks like I've seen in speedruns of this game. Isabela also has a little spin attack she does when she's getting extra angry, and also she has a pistol tucked in her panty line. Now this fight was probably the fastest and easiest out of the bunch. Isabela fell off her bike and kicked my family jewels so hard they shot out of my ass. After I was done recovering from my CBT, I made my way over to the entrance plaza where I ran into the Hall family, and what a family dynamic they have. Roger is a stern, hard-loving kind of dad, Jack wants his father's approval, and Thomas just wants to not kill people. Also, why does Thomas look like a high school narc from the 90s? He looks 40 with a fucking 5 o'clock shadow. He's supposed to be 20? Well, anyways, the plan of attack here is pretty much the same as Carlito 2. I rush towards them with a skateboard and kill Roger first, and then Jack. And we save Thomas for last because, well, he doesn't do anything when Jack and Roger are dead. There's an upside though, being so close to them. They don't do much when you get close to them, besides run away, and they do have polarizing speeds. Roger, as you could expect, runs like he has both of his shoes tied together, and Jack runs like a collegiate athlete. And I'm pretty sure Thomas has the speed somewhere between the both of them. Roger, as you could expect, went down faster than the Twin Towers. Jack, on the other hand, my god. This guy was so fast, I couldn't keep up with him. But when I did get an opportunity to hit him, he would put his rifle up, get hit, and then run for the hills. Needless to say, I pretty much kept this up until he went down. Now, Thomas, on the other hand, well, he just couldn't go on any further with the fact that his family is dead, and he just wallows in misery. Initially, I did want to spare Thomas, but if you know me, I couldn't do that. So, I gave him an execution only suitable for the weakest of links, and that would be some cold hard curved wood. With the Hall family out of the way, it was time to head back to the security room to further question the old man that started this all. He was a tough old wrinkly cookie, and didn't want to tell us a thing. Never mind that though, I had a hot date to save from her tier 3 Twitch sub. I sprung up in my mustard suit and served some Boomerang, but unfortunately for Isabela, she'd been shot by her brother, and it was my job to carry her all the way back to the safe house. Which I did, by the way, because I'd do anything for my Latina queen. While she gets her beauty sleep, I thought it best to see what's going on with the Green Goblin gang. I accidentally walked into the wrong auditorium, and the Green Gooners were all ready to attack me. Hey, not this one. I'm sorry, gang. Not this movie theater. I quickly maneuvered around them, and went into the correct one, where I ran into Sean. Now, I think of Sean as like the Charles Manson of Dead Rising, but Colin Cantor is not what's going to take him out. It's going to be my Boomerang that beats the shit out of him. On a serious note though, Sean hits pretty hard with his charge attacks, especially his upward slash. His other charges are his slide and leap, which I'm gonna be honest, his leap is completely worthless. I quickly caught on to his antics and was pretty much able to bring him down. But the survivors, on the other hand, well, that's a different story. I was not well equipped to deal with the sea of cultists, so I just came to the conclusion that it's everyone for themselves. The only person to emerge from the yellow coats was Cheryl, and I swiftly took her hand and we chartered course to the security room. Unfortunately for the last of them, they soon perished. Isabela woke up and was feeling extra good from her nappy. Isabela was willing to tell us what was going on. She went on about how her village was exposed to some sort of wasp that soon turned everyone into zombies, and her brother Carlito wanted to take his hatred back to America and return the favor. Barnaby shows us his best impression of a zombie. Okay, well now that's a pretty good impression. Enough talking though. My Boomerang was itching for some action, and who better than the incel Reddit browsing king himself, Paul. Now this fight was just like the others I've done before. Paul just evaded me the entire time, throwing pipe bombs he figured out how to make off of 4chan, while also throwing some Molotovs. So as you can imagine, we're doing this chasing him around rodeo all over again. All I needed to worry about again was not losing my Boomerangs to one of his bombs. I also realized, much like the Adam fight, his attacks can backfire and injure him, which was pretty useful to know because when I got him down to the last sliver of health, I got too greedy and ended up losing my last Boomerang. Which made me solely have to rely on getting Paul to hit himself with a molly or a bomb, which eventually he did, ending his life in a fiery explosion. But hold on, Paul's crotch was on fire, and something inside of me told me that I should save this man because of the willingness to blow himself up. I quickly ran into the closet where these selfish women were hiding, and I picked up a fire extinguisher that was conveniently placed in the corner. Now, I never gotten proper training on how to use one of these, so I just kind of threw it at him and see if it worked, which actually resulted in him dying to a freak crotch fire accident. After the neckbeard was done being cooked alive, I made my way back into the security room where Isabela was being interrogated by Brad. During this interrogation, Isabela revealed that Carlito was actually going to blow up the parking garage to let all the zombies inside out into Willamette. With this time crunch, I speed raced my way all the way down to the underground parking garage to collect all the bombs. My depth perception was actually pretty bad here, and I didn't realize that I could actually drive the car through the gap, but instead, I just took the harder approach, which was my skateboard. I Marty McFly'd my way into collecting the first bomb, and hopped into a nearby truck to speed up the process. As I was getting to the bend of the road, Carlito runs into the wall right next to me, which I quickly sprung into action, reversing, blocking him from getting away from the wall. When I got in a position to start wailing on the Santa Cabeza boy, the Boomerangs were stopped short in their trek because of only what I can assume is the window blocking me from hitting it. So shortly after facing this reality, I was soon turned into roadkill. Dude. Second time went much smoother. I got my car through the barricade and recollected the first bomb, and giggled at something that I don't remember giggling at. Carlito came barreling down the tunnel, T-boning me against the wall, but not forever. I was able to do some Fast and Furious type driving to get out and flee from Carlito, never to see him again, and I mean it. I freely collected the second, third, fourth, and fifth bomb before sending them all off into an above-ground parking space. Not sure if this scene would change at all, but I did feel guilty for not being able to incapacitate Carlito, because now it feels like it's my fault that Brad died. Honestly, who cares? It was time for me and Baby Boo to relocate to our new safe haven. An attic. While within a refuge, I learned that she actually just wanted me here because she thought I was part of Geek Squad, and now it's my job to figure out how to crack the password. I knew Carlito had the password, so I went to where he was last seen at the meat processing area. But this big, burly, middle-aged man by the name of Larry was not willing to cooperate with me. Starting with the fight, I knew that utilizing the tables were going to be good for me. For one, he throws his knives or sometimes the meat on the meat hooks. The only thing I was not aware of is that Carlito was my timer, and I shortly ran out of time because I was trying to be more cautious than I should have been. The second time around, I took into account that I'm timed and need to be more risky with my plays. So I ditched hiding behind the tables and did hand to boomerang combat with him, hitting with the boomerang, dodging, and then quickly recovering my boomerangs. I did come close when I got to low HP, but Larry decided to sharpen his blades while I sipped my sweet cow nipple nectar. This turned the tides into my favor, allowing me to kill the big meat man Larry. I got Carlito's necklace, which contained the password to his computer. Later, the military showed up and started their quarantine of all dead and living in the mall. I quickly made my way up to the rooftop, narrowly avoiding the little time I had left. Fortunately, the helicopter man that was supposed to save me ended up dying from a freakish helicopter accident, leaving me stranded with all the zombies in the mall. And with that, the boomerang only challenge was finished. But that's not all, folks. We got 3 more psychopaths that I wanted to include. I went back on a fresh playthrough with the same Frank. This time around I wanted to kill Cletus and Kent. I'm leaving out the helicopter and prisoners because, well, my boomerangs will definitely not reach the helicopter, and I did kill the prisoners, but it's not anything you've seen before. Chased them around, hit them until they died. So that's why I'm only doing Cletus and Kent, because they're more interesting. Now, let's start with the drunken redneck himself, Cletus. Going into this fight, I was expecting it to be a one-shot steamroll, but that was far from what I got. To start things off, I used a display to block his shots so I can then close the gap for when he drinks overloads. Turns out he had one of those Cinema Unlimited mags, and his iBuy Power PC can block my boomerang tosses. A problem I quickly discovered is that Cletus will always be behind the counter, which is where my boomerangs just so happen to get stuck behind. So I have to constantly climb over the counter and risk either being shot or thrown back over the counter. Also, being in such a tight space, it was hard not to pick up a weapon while trying to recover my boomerangs. Down to 1 HP, Cletus scoops me up, and I brace for the WWE finisher of my life, only to get smooches from a zombie when I was trying to flee. I took note of the lack of boomerangs I had in my arsenal, so I decided to make a quick pit stop to one of the toy stores in the entrance plaza. There, I found 3 boomerangs, which gave me 5 in total. Now it was time to fight Cletus once again. Only this time, I did learn some things. Cletus' shots are delayed, which is useful since I can run adjacent to where he is for me and make him miss 100% of the time. And he can also break my boomerangs with his gunshots. Long story short, I died while trying to sippy sip my wine. Now this time for sure, I have the power within me to kill Cletus. I began zigzagging it up until he finally let me have an opening to bounce my wood off his head. I got lucky towards the end of the fight. My boomerang kept bouncing off of Cletus' fat belly, making it fall over to me. The stroke of luck kept on happening until it eventually led me to finishing off the drunk sack of lard. Now, it's time for the photo genius himself, Ken. Ken is a very slippery stick bug. The man will tackle and jump kick to do a lot of damage. I mean, look at my boy Tad demonstrating the tad bit of damage he does. Oh, sorry, Tad. I accidentally unleashed Tad to help me. Totally on purpose, by the way. Hey, what up, buddy? Sorry. Wait! I want my boomerang. Oh. Alright. Goodbye, Tad. But Tad knew no fear. He would valiantly run up to Kent and strike him with his own bare hands. I couldn't have no mere Tad help me out with this, so I needed him to go cool down somewhere else. At some point in the fight, I lost track of all my boomerangs that I had, so I needed to head back downstairs to get some new ones. Kent, on the other hand, was not letting up on his pursuit of becoming the one true photographer. While on the ropes with Kent, Tad feels as if he's ready to get back in the fight and tries to tag himself in. Oh, caught it. Oh, shit. Tad, don't do it. Tad, run for safety. When reaching the final bit of health on Kent, I downed some OJ to secure the kill. That wasn't until a little devil on my shoulder, that was my girlfriend, told me to do a 360 for the last hit. No! We're drinking. Safety. Fuck. Oh. Hit him more. The second time around, I gave my girlfriend some Isabela Keys and an iPad with some dancing fruit on it to keep her from telling me to do outlandish things. My strategy for this fight was now to keep Kent on the other side of these ropes to keep him from charging me, and also, this running around the ropes kept on happening until we got to the last sliver of health, where I decided why not do a mediocre 360. Oh. Boom! And that about wraps up the other two cycles that I wanted to kill. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, consider liking and subscribing. And I'll be sure to not take as long this time to get a new video out. I'll see you guys in the next. Peace!